Greetings gamers, welcome to part number 40 of my Let's Play Fire Emblem 9, Path of Radiance. And in today's episode, I have quite a bit to do left with Chapter 21 Without a King. And in fact, I still have two of the main bosses to deal with. However, the rest of the map has been pretty well emptied. Of course, there is the reinforcements coming from three separate sides of the rear. But I think I have some pretty genius ways to deal with them. First and foremost, one thing I absolutely want to do. If that Brave Bow was KOing there, I would have used that instead. Nice. Very nice, Shinon. Incredible level up. Awesome. This is one thing I like about Shinon. He is level 7 right now. This is basically around what you would expect for the bases of Rolf at promoted near level 20. So, yes, Rolf can turn out better than Shinon, and you also have way more time with Rolf. But the fact of the matter is, in my purposes, Rolf is just not a good unit, and will never be a good unit because I do not prefer growth units over pre-promotes. I just don't. Now, that doesn't mean I don't use growth units. Obviously, I do. My issue is that I don't always like to. And because of that, I find myself in situations and scenarios where oftentimes I'm just forsaking growth units as much as I possibly can. Several instances I have thought, one of these days after I get done with all of my Let's Plays that are necessary to be done in order for me to get everything done I need to get done, I am going to eventually, let's see, I am going to eventually, yeah, I guess that's fine. I'll use the hand axe, why not? I'm going to eventually go back and revisit certain Fire Emblem games and do a lot of fun runs, just one-offs where it's like, okay, I'm going to use a pre-promote only run, or I'm going to do this, or I'm going to do that specifically, whatever it be. And the reason why is because it's just much more fun. It's one of the reasons why I'm doing this run, because this is basically a pre-promote only run. There are some caveats, of course, but that's because I like healing. If this game had vulneraries like Thracia, I wouldn't be... I'm just a big fan of using healers in my runs, because I think, obviously you can play and beat these games without ever having to do anything like healing. But the problem is with that, is that I'm just not... I don't find that particularly something that I would prefer to do, even remotely. I guess I could attack him with the Sonic Sword, what's it matter? This game does not have good potion healing, like vulneraries and elixirs. Of course, it does have elixirs, but all of the ones that you can obtain are pretty well either late game or very limited. I do think this is going to allow me to KO this door. Nice. Very nice. Move her up. And then get ready. I think I'll just leave you here. So... like I said, I'm kind of a big fan of the whole idea of having good healing, and most of the games that don't have good healing, I have to have some kind of caveat to the pre-promote only runs. Otherwise, I'm going to have a game in which I'm not really able to beat it well, because I have to use stuff like 10 healing vulneraries. That's just not great. Very surprising that he attacked Rayson, with how many units have totally avoided Rayson to attack Shinon even at a range. Very strange, to say the very least. And of course, Tormod is not equipping the Sed right now, so he did not KO. Unfortunate, but also not that big a deal. Especially because Stefan is behind, specifically to help out Tormod as well. Wow, somebody actually hit Titania. That's pretty incredible. And he got one shot. Imagine. Imagine being a trained swordsman and just dying to one hit to some random paladin with an axe. These guys aren't doing much better, but at least they're taking a hit. And then, of course, there's the Swords Master. None of these guys have ranged attack, so it's kind of moot, at the very least, to say that they're going to be of any kind of serious issue concerning somebody like Titania, who has very good one range. Very good. And of course, Ike needs his experience points as well, which is one of the many reasons why he is moving up. I kind of want to use the weapons that have more hit. Yeah, this guy, he has a sleep. He didn't even bother trying to put Ike to sleep because Ike cannot be put to sleep by him in a reasonable fashion. Short spear. Unfortunately, what I'm going to actually have to do is hold back Stefan for these guys. I guess I could use the silver blade here. What's it matter? Tormod can continue dealing with these folks. Oh gosh, that guy had a killer axe. I wonder how much crit he had. Oh, not that much, but still, he could have crit. That would not have been fun, to say the absolute least. But my units, for the most part, are capable, more than capable, of dealing with pretty much anything that this game throws at me right now, because the problem is, and this is one of the reasons why, regardless of the difficulty that you play on Path of Radiance, even the Japanese exclusive Maniac mode, your units will scale better than the enemies. And that's mostly due to the fact that the game doesn't really handle difficulty well. A lot of people say this is a problem of bonus experience points. I would agree if you abuse those, but the two units I use them on don't really combatively benefit from that at all. They're just not. Okay, I do only have physics. I mean, I could use a mend. But it's, you know, it's whatever. I'm going to run away. The fact of the matter is that it's just the game design. The game design wasn't thought of well enough. The enemies don't scale enough. They shouldn't scale completely. Like, this Swordsmaster here shouldn't have on-par stats with every one of your units in your party. And the reason why is because there's always, at least on intelligent maps, most intelligent maps, there's always more enemies than there are allies. So there should never be a time where there are more. I think I'm going to have to trade him a weapon. There should never be a time where there are more enemies also more powerful. Unless there is some significantly good reason behind it, because that's the problem, is that most of the time there's not a good reason behind it. Alright, so he's going to open up these two chests. Do I have a chest key? I don't actually think I do. I think Volk is going to have to steal and pilfer every single chest. Yes, he is going to have to. And I also don't think there's much of anything left to steal. Of course, there is a physic. I am getting this bar none. I would love to get the sleep as well. That's not actually impossible. If I KO most of this room with enemies that he doesn't want to use the sleep against, that could be something. But the problem is he's likely going to use. Might not hit actually against my good old halberdier. But yeah, I would like the sleep. It's not great. This game's sleep staves and stuff like that are not absolutely necessary, but the physic, 100% getting that. Definitely want to take this occult as well. Good old Toronio there. He is quite the massive pain if you're not careful. So 1, 2, I'm going to put her, let's say 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is perfect. And then I can use other units to smite. Mist can go and assist Ike, as well as Rayson. Especially because they have a support, which is nice. Oh wait, no, they don't. They don't have a support. Very strange. You would almost think that, well, one of these guys is going to just attack, and I'm not going to be able to really attack back. Nice miss. I'm very glad he missed. Unfortunately, had he hit, I actually am not close enough with the Restore Staff. I would have had to use Rayson to get the Restore Staff to him, which, going to say, would not have been great. Okay, perfect. Very glad the Short Spear Wielder decided to attack Shinon, probably because Shinon is a bit less bulky than good old Daein is currently right now, which is good. I'm actually fairly glad about that, because what that means is that you don't want Shinon to be too bulky at times. It's a balancing act, because if he's too bulky, then the enemies won't go after him, prioritizing him over others that won't attack. Like, for instance, he could attack, but Daein couldn't in that situation, and I think it was just the damage he was doing, which is what allowed the provoke to make it so that he prioritized Shinon. Though it's going to be quite well to his doom. Very nice, very nice. Okay level up. I mean, yes, that is actually fantastic level up. He got 6 stats. I'll greatly admit that. The problem is that he needs strength. One of the reasons why I forged him the Defender sword is because Ike is, I wouldn't say sorely lacking in strength, because he's not exactly far below average. I don't even know if he is below average, honestly, I haven't checked. But the fact of the matter is that for some purposes, I would definitely like for him to have more physical strength right now, especially more than magic. I mean, that 6 magic is cute, but it's not anything he's going to get much out of. Okay, I can put him there. So Ike and Mist. That's going to seem like a bit of a waste to use physics in that manner, and I kind of do actually agree, but what can you do? Level 16. Pretty decent level up, Rayson. Thank you. I think he has like a max magic around 25-ish. Not sure exactly how high. Maybe 30 speed. Probably a little bit less than that, honestly. I don't honestly think that that he would have something like 30 speed. Okay, Ike, you can go ahead and get ready for your confrontation with Toronio. So doesn't matter which chest I open, of course. Corrosion, not a great skill in this game, even remotely. Okay, I cannot smite him, which makes sense. But I can shove, so That was my best chance at KOing him right there. And use the marked. Take you out. Yet another one bites the dust. Shinon is doing a fantastic job clearing out some enemies. Thank you, Stefan. Save a use of that silver blade. Why not? Perfect. I'm pretty sure, now don't quote me on this, but I'm pretty sure the rest of the reinforcements are pretty much done. And I do have to make sure that he cannot reach over here. I would love it if this sleep staff wielder decided to target Leave instead of Mordecai or Morum, because I need Mordecai and Morum for the whole smite situation. Missed again. Nice. Just goes to show you how not great those staves are. I will cut you down with ease and leave your corpse for the rats. He doesn't sound like all that great of a dude. Thank you. Another instance of somebody deciding to attack Shinon who probably shouldn't. But I'm definitely not going to complain. So for this turn, yes. Now, those who watched my previous playthrough obviously know that this is a thing, and those who've played Path of Radiance and have discovered it know this is a thing, but you can absolutely talk to Tyronio. Hi, take this. What is it? Why are you staring at me like this? I am Tyronio, a general of Daein. Young general of Crimea, I have but one question to ask you. Your swordsmanship is familiar. Who taught you to fight this way? To the best of my knowledge, that style was used by only one man, an old friend of mine. My father, he taught me to use the sword. Is that so? Then you are Gawain's son. Wait, are you a friend of my father's? We are good friends. Long ago, how is the old goat? My father no longer lives. He was defeated and slain by a Daein general. That can't be, for the Gawain I know to be beaten. Who was it? Who took him down? A knight encased in black armor. The Black Knight, eh? I did not know his strength had grown so much. Interesting. Do you have any brothers or sisters? I have one sister. In that case, I will not fight you. The world must not lose Gawain's style of swordsmanship. I surrender. You may lock me away or execute me or what you will. I care not. Are you sane? Very much so. I had already decided that I would die in this place. I have served this country for many years, since the time of the previous king. But the current regent, he rules through fear and wants nothing but war. I can abide it no longer. If you plan on dying anyway, join us. We have need of strength such as yours. You would take a former Daein general? I cannot. Your fellow Crimeans would resist. They would never accept it. Our army does not have the luxury of being so picky. Please, lend us your strength. As you will. I've already thrown my life away. If it can serve you somehow, you may use it as you see fit. Yes, so I obtain my absolute favorite unit in this game. Combatively, just a genius. I love Tyronio. I love how powerful he is. I love his bases. With a beautiful, wonderful 60% in HP growth, a 55% in strength, a measly 5% in magic, 50% in skill, 30% in speed, 15% in luck, 60% in defense, and 40% in resistance. This man is tanky and bulky. He's also kind of speedy. So one thing that I love doing with Tyronio, and I am going to be doing this, is giving him the Night Ward. And the reason being is because he will get a 30% buff to his 30% speed growth, which means he'll have a 60% speed growth. It is likely that that means that of his 6 levels left, he will get about 4 or 5 speed. Doesn't sound like a lot, but this man is kind of a beast. So he comes with an A rank in swords and spears, but he also comes with resolve, increases strength, skill, and speed whenever units' HP are at half or less. So, like I said before, in the beginning of this chapter, when I was showcasing the bosses, he will have a 33 strength, a 27 skill, and at this current time, only a 19 speed. However, one thing you want with him is you want somewhere between 16 and 18 speed, because that allows him to reach so many benchmarks under Resolve that he can just utterly wipe out enemies. So, I am a big sucker for Armor Knights. I just love them, but they have to be good. They have to be good. Most of the times in the Fire Emblem franchise, Armor Knights are just not good. That's why most of the times that I enjoy an Armor Knight, they are themselves pre-promotes. Like, for instance, Xavier. He's one of my favorite units in Thracia, though most people would say I'm insane, because Xavier himself is not like... he's not something quote-unquote special in comparison to some of the other units in the game. And because of that, a lot of people would say, well, you know, there's much better units you could enjoy and love, Gamerman. But for me, I just love, I seriously love the idea of knights in general so much that I prefer them. One of these days, I want to go through a Radiant Dawn playthrough and use all of the Armor Knights. And the reason being for that is because I think that that's a very fun game for that. Granted, the problem with it is that you're not exactly playing the game in a, I want to say, an efficient manner if you're using Armor Knights, and I fully understand this. But I seriously don't care. And the reason why I seriously don't care is because it's just so much fun. It really is just so much fun, especially when they are good. So Turonio having good resistance as well as decent speed means that this guy meets the criteria that I have for a good armor. He doesn't have great speed, so he will be doubled on difficult mode without Resolve. But once Resolve kicks in, you can pretty much kiss that goodbye, especially if he gets a couple of points in speed. I'm not going to level him up even one single time without first putting on the Night Ward, which does mean that Daein is going to lose it. However, Daein is not, in my opinion, a unit that I even remotely compare to the goodness of Turonio. I think Turonio is just that awesome. That fantastic of a unit. Granted, he doesn't have any supporting partners that I will be using in this playthrough, so he's not going to have access to anything of that sort. But I will say this. I don't think he really needs it, even at all. And that just has to do with the fact that he is just so strong. You kind of don't want him to dodge attacks until he's in Resolve. That's the only time that you're going to actually want him to dodge attacks. Because otherwise, the man himself, he needs to get hit. He needs to be taken down to half health, which he has a pretty beefy amount. I don't know what I'm going to do for his other skills. I do know I'm giving him Provoked at the very least, but I was considering either Vantage or Wrath. Probably Vantage, because I think Vantage works very well with the whole Resolve and Provoke thing. I think it works actually very incredibly well. This is a pointless shove, but I'm going to do it anyway. I need to KO you. Yeah, so Turonio is... You're never going to watch me play a playthrough of Path of Radiance where I don't sing his praises and use him. Unless I'm using a specific assortment of units that would dictate my not being able to use him. Wow, 3 misses in a row? I don't even think... If I'm not mistaken, I don't even think that good old Morum has that... No, he only has 7 resistance at this current moment. I don't particularly understand what's going on. Can I? No. I cannot shove. So... she's going to lose a space by me putting her back one, but she's actually going to end up gaining that space plus another one. So it doesn't really matter in that in that context. And then I'm going to move the rest of my units. Granted, I seriously don't believe that any of these other units are going to be of any kind of use for the rest of this chapter, because Ike and company are just too close to the boss. I've got way too many things to do to be waiting around. Ashnard, show yourself. Huh? A Goldoan dragon?
I've been waiting for you. You are General Ike, are you not?
Who are you?
My name is Ina. By the orders of the king, I am the protector of this capital.
Withdraw. I've no desire to fight a useless battle with you. It's Ashnard I'm after.
I regret to inform you that the king is not here.
What?
The king and the main body of the Daein army remain in Crimea, where they have been since it fell.
What are you saying? The king's abandoned the capital?
I share your desire to see this conflict end, so rather than see you travel to Crimea to fight Ashnard, I felt it would be much faster for me to defeat you and your army here. Don't you agree?
That's one way to look at it. The problem is that I'll never let you do as you please with Crimea.
We cannot have it both ways. We both want what is in our own interest, and that is why we have conflict. If neither of us will yield, our conflict will continue until only the stronger of us remains. I have my own reasons for fighting, and I will see you fall.
Hi-ya! You're nowhere near her! Hi-ya! Yeah, so she states the fact that the moment that Crimea fell, good old Ashnard was nowhere to be seen in wonderful old Daein. Killing Edge. How about I do something about that? Yeah, so Tyronio is a fantastic user of Provoke because he's got great defense and resistance. He's going to have slightly more with the Night Ward, which is great. Not exactly necessary, but it is great nonetheless. So I kind of don't even want to do this because of these two units here. I kind of just don't, because if they KO Ike, I'm going to have to restart this chapter. Alright, time to try it, though. And make sure that everything goes well. Hopefully. Got a beautiful Killing Edge. Those two can just sit there and enjoy themselves. No damage. Hilarious. Most of the magic users at this point of the game could not possibly damage Ike with a pure water because of his resistance being so high. I appreciate that. I think that's actually kind of a lot of fun that Ike has received such good resistances. Definitely not something that you would assume that Ike would have. This right here is a mistake of mine. I should have equipped the Regal Sword. But it's okay. Alright, so let's get the last bit of experience points Ike is going to receive in this turn. Perfect. Oh, come on, Ike. Only HP? Granted, I'm a bit blowing it out of the water because he is not that far away from maximums in strength, skill, speed, defense, or resistance. Not too far, and the chances of him not receiving all of that in the next 12 levels is very low. Very low. He does have to reach certain strength and, well, he does have to reach capped strength, actually. Capped strength as well as, alright, so I'm just going to move Danved up. Or Devdan. Yeah, Devdan. As fast as I possibly can. I'm going to drop you. and finish off this turn with Tyronio and Mist. Of course, I'm going to attack you, and stay away from attacking the bishop, because I 100% need... Can't believe she got a crit with Soul. So basically, she's trying to spoof the wonderful Radiant Dawn masteries. But that is my turn. And hilariously, this guy decides to attack Tyronio. Of course, he's actually did some pretty significant damage there to someone such as Tyronio. Doesn't matter, though. I'm going to heal a little bit. Ooh, actually, that's not good. I'm going to heal a whopping 16 on Tyronio. He's going to go back up to full HP. So what I actually kind of hope for here is that he keeps damaging Tyronio and puts him down to good old resolve range. How much speed does she have? 18? So yes, she's not going to double him when he's in resolve. Actually, I don't even really need this bishop to do that. Tyronio can just get it from the enemy general. However, with that being said, I think this is a wondrous opportunity to go ahead and end off this episode. Next time, join me. I am going to be finishing off Chapter 21, defeating the Goldoan dragon, who should not really be here, and getting the rest of the beautiful, wonderful treasure that I so much desire. If you like my content, please upvote and follow, or like and subscribe, depending on your platform. And while you're at it, have a great and glorious day gaming.